right.
Welcome to episode number 50 of the Sundowners Golf Club podcast. I am Giovanni. I'm sitting here in a beautiful Marriott in downtown Columbia, South Carolina. Just checked into the hotel about 25 minutes ago. Fired up the podcast stuff as soon as I could. I'm your host, and I'm here with our other host, Mr. Matt Caldwell. Matt, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. 24 hours has passed. I think if you listen to yesterday's recap, it was a little bit of an emotional episode for me. So,
No, it's good. I mean, I think we're all feeling. I think the golf world as a whole is feeling the Masters hangover. Gosh, it's just such a good week. It's we talk about why we love it so much, and when it ends, there's almost this like, especially the way it ended for me as a Rory fan, it's just like, oh my gosh, what do I do with my hands now? What do I do? Gianna's asking me to go do stuff. I'm like, well, technically, it's still Masters weekend. I just want to sit here and just soak it in.
Yeah.
I
end up going back and watching the jacket ceremony and the speech and all that. I did go back. I kind of got up. I think he was finishing up hole 17. And I was like, okay, it's over. I started packing up my stuff, getting ready to record with you guys, mow the lawn, and then did our recording. And I was, I think I said it yesterday. And then the thing that's kind of stuck with me after 24 hours is I wanted more out of some of those top guys, like I'm people won't believe me, but I don't get upset necessarily that Rory wins tournaments. That's not my case, right? My case is like, he's just not one of my guys. He's not a guy that I'm rooting for. So I'm not like anti-Rory in that case. The thing that I wish we had is a guy that was in a relatively decent striking position Sunday morning, played 18 holes of golf and given us something. And we had some really fun golf. Scotty Scheffler put on an absolute show. Tyrrell Hatton put on a show. Colin Morikawa went on a show. I think he had 5 birdies in a row on the back 9. I mean, it's absurd. And I think Colin was hurt for 2 of those. I think he was literally limping around. His back was hurting so bad. And so like in like, a microcosm, just like looking at guys and how they performed, like it was fun to watch and it was exciting. But I mean, last year we got a playoff, we got a playoff between 2 guys that didn't have a jacket yet. And so we knew one of these guys is finally going to get it. And it was exciting.
Well, if you compare Saturday, there was like a 90-minute stretch on Saturday, probably when the bulk of the field was floating around between holes 6 and 12. There was like a buzz going on. Like you could feel it even on the broadcast. It was like the broadcast couldn't keep up. And you look at the whole list of guys on the leaderboard. That was the day that Rory was the only one in the top 14 that didn't shoot par or better. So those guys, I mean, we could list them all, right? Schauffele, Reed, Xander, Scheffler, Cam Young, all these guys are playing their way into the tournament on Saturday because they had to. And then so when Sunday rolls around, this is not to discredit Rory, really. I mean, I don't think you can discredit anybody if they won this tournament the way it went down, but it did seem like a lot of people were just trying to give it away almost, I mean, let's just quickly look at the leaderboard here, right? Like Rory started the day 11 under, tied for the lead, shot 1 under to win the tournament by 1. Scotty had an awesome weekend. He went bogey free on the weekend. Supposedly that's the first time it's been done since like 1943 or something in the major championship. I don't know the stat per se, but even then, he shot 3 under. Quite frankly, he left a few out there. Tyrrell Hatton, who kind of, I don't want to say played himself out of the tournament on Saturday, but he had a quiet Saturday. He shot six under on Sunday, and that was just not enough. Russell Henley, same thing. He shot 3 under. He was starting the day 5 strokes back. Justin Rose was probably our closest. He got to the lead after hole 9. He got to 12 under. Ends up stumbling his way to a 10 under to finish. Cam Young, like we talked about, was stuck in neutral. But these names on the leaderboard here are guys that just they were really never in it per se. Sure, they were 2 strokes back at some point throughout the tournament, but it's just like a little too little too late for some of those guys. Whereas, guys like Burns, he tied for the lead after the first hole birdie, goes on to double bogey, then bogey 2 and 3, and then he was just kind of irrelevant the rest of the day. Who else was up there in the mix? Patrick Reed. He was kind of the highlight of the tournament until Sunday. He had a tough day on Sunday, 1 over, moved himself.
Yeah, I mean, he had a really good Thursday, Friday, and then first half of Saturday, and then second 9 Saturday, and then all day Sunday. He just kind of was nowhere. My memory is I think we saw Patrick on the broadcast once or twice.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I'll be honest. I think the broadcast, as good as the broadcast is as a whole, it did seem like they were having a hard time keeping up with what was going on the course. There was times where, if you're watching the featured groups in the morning, and then you turn over to the broadcast and they're showing a shot from Scheffler like 15 minutes prior that happened 15 minutes prior. I mean, that's neither here nor there, but it just did seem like a tournament where, hey, you tell these guys somebody's got to win it. I don't know which one of you guys wants it, but yeah, I'm with you. The same fireworks that were going on Saturday. I mean, truly, there was it was hard to keep up on Saturday with how many just missiles were being shot around that golf course on Saturday. To then Sunday, it was kind of like, golly, man, someone's got to hang on to this thing. It almost looked like Rose was going to coast to the finish, after the turn. That the way he, I think he had four birdies in a row to finish his front 9. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was an interesting Sunday. I'm sure so many of these guys, maybe more so than like a normal major championship, so many of these guys, including Rory, are looking back on how many shots they coughed up throughout the week.
Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty much everybody's lasting impression outside of, Rory going back to back. And I think he said it the best in his speeches. He's like, look, I wanted to come back here and I proved to you that me winning it wasn't a fluke. And I'll be honest, I didn't feel that way. I don't think I would have ever thought it was a fluke that he won the Masters. It's like he's been one of the most dominant golfers in his generation. Him winning a Masters one time would have never felt like a fluke to me, but I understand that feeling, right? Because you win it one time and now you're in the you're in the same club as Danny Willett. It's like, okay, Danny Willett's a Masters champ, but nobody regards Danny Willett as one of the greatest ever. But not only has he won 2, he did 2 in a row, which puts him in, in the echelon of some of the greatest to have ever done it, right? Like just one more did that for him.
Now, I agree wholeheartely with you saying that this, we wouldn't call this a fluke. And I think the guys on the No Laying Up podcast said it perfectly. They said 0% chance Rory wins this Masters if he didn't already win last year's. Right? If this was Rory, if this was the day Rory had to chase the green jacket, I don't know if he's winning this tournament after how Saturday went. Right. And so I think it's rightfully earned, but it's Rory had the comfort of already having the green jacket and being able to stumble his way around the course and just dig deep in these little moments. And I don't remember if we talked about it yesterday or not, but they asked him Butler Cabin, what the defining shots for him were. And one of the shots that he said was 13, hitting the fairway on 13 and giving himself a chance to go for the green in 2. And it just has me wondering, because in my brain, it was the putt on 16 was the putt that was the shot that kind of defined the day, was off the back of the green. He just kind of hit the perfect line and speed and hit it to tap in distance when, one bogey would drastically change the outcome of this event. But he went to 13.
Do you think he was thinking about another shot on that hole? Do you think that's possible?
On which one?
You said on 16.
I'm not picking up what you're putting down.
No, never mind. No, I agree with you. If I think about a defining shot for Rory, gosh, I don't know. I don't know which one. I don't know if there's one specific shot that I think did it for him. I think the two birdies on the back as a whole, like those two holes in a row, I mean, that's essentially what gave him the tournament, right? Because Cam just couldn't find anything. But I guess I don't know if there's a shot necessarily that did it. I called the shot on 9. I kind of had a feeling he was going to put one close on 9. That seems to just be a hole that Rory plays really well on. And I don't know if you were kind of back in the group chat, but I was going back and forth with Jared, and, Rory was kind of stumbling right through the first few holes. And I was like, hey man, look, let me just play this out. And I just named a couple holes. I said, he's going to play even par through here. He's going to birdie 9. He's going to play even 10, 11, birdie 12, 13. Like I kind of laid it out. And I was like, look, here's some opportunities. Birdie 16. It's the Mickey Mouse spot. So there's a birdie. So there was like these holes that it's like, hey man, he has 3 or 4 birdies left. Like realistic. Like this isn't a crazy thing for me to say. And when I said that, Jared's like, yeah, you're right. Like this is very much in Rory's hands. And this is all while Justin Rose is going off.
Yeah.
Going off. And I still was like, I don't see him being out. And then he went and birdied even more holes than I thought he was going to.
Well, if you look at it from on 4 is when he 3-putted for double bogey, ends up bogeying 6. And then from that point on, he birdies 7 and 8, 12 and 13. So he's 4 under for the next 11 holes. And that alone bought him a 2-stroke lead going into 18. Of course, he bogeys 18, but he shot what he needed to there. So, I mean, it's like I'm with you. There's not that big draw 7-iron on 15 that we all remember from last year's Masters. I think if anything, we're just going to remember probably the chip in on 17 on Friday, and just that birdie run that he went on at the end of the day Friday, essentially allowing him to play the way he did on Saturday and on Sunday. So,
you know what? Looking at the scorecard, I think the chip on 13 from the back of the green, and maybe this is 2020 hindsight, knowing that Cam Young didn't also birdie that hole. He chipped first and put himself in a pretty good spot. Cam followed it up, didn't perform as well, even though, like I said yesterday, and I still feel this way. And he was I think that their balls are 2 feet apart.
Yeah, they were right next to each other.
And Cam chipped it. So it's like, anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're talking about Rory. So Rory goes first, puts it in a good spot. Cam goes next, doesn't put it in as good of a spot. And then going, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Rory putt first too and get the birdie?
No, so Cam Young was a little bit further out.
Okay.
And he did give Rory a bit of a line. But I think I agree with you. That's a hindsight 2020 moment where that is a big swing, especially for him, right? Like he's been punching out and laying up on 3 of the 4 days on that hole every time. His balls were all straight through into the pine straw, and he's hitting wedges into that hole. And so I think he probably knew, like, gosh, this is like I earned this moment because I finally hit the tee shot I needed to. And I think that spot they were in, it's probably one of those shots at Augusta that it's really hard to tell how difficult that shot really is. That's the same spot that Hao Tong Lee was at when he putted or chipped it into the water.
I I felt like the cameras were in a different spot than they normally are on that hole, because it gave us a perspective of just how undulating that green is from, I mean, depending on where you're looking at it, but back left to side right,
Yeah.
away from the creek towards the creek, right? Like, I knew that there was a slope, but for whatever reason, yesterday's angle really showed you just how big of a slope that is, and how careful you have to be. I mean, because I think Rory was aiming 25 feet left of the cup, 30 feet maybe,
and just dying it on the top of that hill. And it's still, I mean, it seemed like Rory hit kind of like the 9.5 out of 10 shot, and it still left him a, what was it, 6-7 foot birdie putt.
Right.
And I'd argue that Cam Young hit a 9.3 out of 10 shot, right, and left him a 9 foot birdie putt. They're great shots. It's just a difficult shot. Speaking of different angles,
I have a question for you. I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
You and I are out there. Let's pretend we're better golfers than we are. You watch me putt from that spot and put it as 7 feet. Are you grabbing a wedge or are you grabbing your putter?
Oh gosh, man. I've been presented with this so many times in real life, right? Where you're like, you're going next to somebody, and you're like, nope, I'm chipping this. And then they putt it really close. You're like, golly, do I still chip it? Am I being a hardo? I don't know. I mean, that clearly was a game plan for Rory this week. Rory was putting a lot from off the green, which I think normally he wouldn't. Whereas Cam Young on the flip side was not. So I think it comes down more to these guys were just so locked in. I read that they weren't hardly talking to each other at all on Sunday. So I think it was just a matter of these guys are just locked into their game. They're just, sure, they'll take the help when they need it. But I think to answer your question, if you ask Cam Young, hindsight 2020, I'm guessing he's hitting the same shot. I mean, he still hit a great shot. He just missed the putt coming back. In fact, now I kind of want to fact check myself and see, how far off he really was, because they were pretty much right on top of each other. Just Cam Young was just a little bit longer.
He was. Are you pulling it up?
I am. Yeah. So Cam Young, it appears to be like a 12-foot birdie putt.
Oh, there you go.
So I mean, I don't know. It's they're both good shots. It's just a hard shot. I think it's one of those shots that you and I won't really have a full grasp of until the one day that we get to use our media pass and make our way out there.
Right. No, I think that I guess to answer your question from 4 minutes ago, I think that hole is probably, that's the one that won in the tournament, I think. Because once that birdie was made, now officially everyone's on notice. Y'all have to make several birdies now to make it happen, right? He could have easily, because you got to remember, he made that putt. Even after making that putt, Rory is losing strokes on the green with his putter.
Yeah.
And it put the pressure on everybody. So that's probably the biggest one for me.
I think another shot that comes to mind for me, and I don't know that it's quite as flashy as 15 last year when he hits that draw around the trees, but just the way he stepped up and hit it to, 4, 5, 6 feet on 12. That was a pin that, I mean, every year it's in the same spot every year. And everybody talks about that hole and how difficult it is for right-handers. And like, there's a ton of history on that hole with, the year Tiger won when, what was it? Finau and, who else was, I forgot it last time. Oh, Finau and, Molinari.
Francisco Molinari. So
Molinari. And so for him to step up and hit that shot in that moment, especially coming off of 11, he parred 11 this week or on Sunday, but it's just a moment. Go ahead.
Go back and watch 12 again, though. But I want you to look at Rory's feet. That unbelievable shot that we're remembering, that was a miss. It was a miss. He pushed it. He was aiming directly at the left half of the back bunker.
Now, I don't think we should be
but that's
penalizing guys
that's
in
part
this
of the thing.
dialogue. This makes me go back to the year that Cam Smith won the Players, and he hit that shot into 17 at Sawgrass, and he was candid enough to say, "Yeah, it was a really good shot, but I missed that by about 8 yards, and that's why it was pin high right side of the flag." Now, I don't think that's. I mean, that's where like the beauty of that hole comes into play. They talk about like the shot dispersion for a right-hander.
Right.
I imagine he's trying to get that ball at least pin high, right? He's probably taking it towards the back bunker, trying to keep it pin high, and if it leaks a little bit for him, that's good. So I don't know that we should penalize him too much for having.
I'm not penalizing. No. I'm not penalizing anything. I remember watching, going, oh, he's doing the tiger line. He's going right at the center of this green. He's staying out of the bunker, staying out of trouble, like center of the green. Let's move to the next hole. And then when that thing landed and rolled up 6-7 feet, like that's
probably why. That's probably why he didn't say 12 at Butler Cabin when he's getting the green jacket, because they'd say, "What's the shot of the day?" He's like, 12. Oh, tell us about that. And he's like, "Well, actually, I missed my line by 8 yards." But
real sidebar, real quick, because the shot tracer on that hole was correct. Do you remember the Justin Rose shot tracer on 13? His second shot.
Yes, the one that looked like it was going right by 20 yards.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Oh man, that was
also unreal. we need to talk about. So we're not. I think we're done with Rory at this point. I don't think we need to dive into Rose, but we mentioned how Rose, he got to 12 under. So Rose was 12 under in the lead going into Amen Corner. In fact, going into 12, he was tied for the lead, and he hits that shot on 13, and he hits the green. I mean, this thing was, I'm trying to remember how long his putt was coming back down, but it was downhill putt for eagle. But that second shot he hit was phenomenal, and it dances right by the hole, and he ends up 3-putting that hole for par. And I feel like that was the moment for Rose that it was just kind of like, yep, Rose ain't winning this one. He doesn't have it. Especially that stinking putt. I'm watching him hit that putt. And of course, I have the luxury of watching the broadcast all day long and watching these guys hit that exact same putt all day long. Rose was not even close on his birdie putt. He started at the hole and didn't even come close to the hole. Everybody else that had that putt, it's breaking about a ball or two left to right. I don't know. It was kind of a bummer to watch, especially after that moment where it's like, holy smokes, that might go in the creek. Oh wait, actually, it almost landed in the hole. Hey, what do you say we go down? Let's look at not necessarily just the top 10, but let's pick some names and let's give some grades for the week. Okay. And we can start with Rory. And I'll start with Rory and say that as a whole, I think we saw Rory's like B game for 4 rounds of golf. But I mean, he won the tournament. You got to give him an A+. But what about what grade do you give Scotty? Solo second place. He's already got 2 green jackets. Had a tough start, even par after the first 2 days. What grade do you give Scotty?
I mean, it's hard to give a guy a better grade when he didn't win the tournament, but I would say going into the weekend 12 down, right? That's how that was.
Yeah,
Saturday morning.
He was down by 12 shots with 36 holes to play, and he made up 11 of them.
It has to be an A, right?
I mean that's maybe unreal. maybe A- at worst, just because it's Scotty.
But here's the thing where perspective changes. Let's say that the order of how he plays this tournament is flip-flopped, right? So he has the 12-hole lead and loses it and gets solo second.
F.
Right? We're going to say that's a fail. So it's hard. It's hard. I don't know. And is it impressive? Is it more impressive to do a comeback than it is to drop the ball? I think classically we would say, yeah, obviously. but golf is one of those interesting things where you get to do the same thing 4 times. And, you know, depending on would you play good and would you play bad, because you're likely going to have an okay or potentially stinkerish round in there. And it's how well you played the other 3 rounds. Do you win or not? But I feel like it was an A. I do. I feel like it was an A, even though if we flipped it, I would give an MF. I think it was an A.
No, I mean, you have to. I mean, he got solo second in a major. He beat everybody but one golfer for the week, despite how he played. I would say even more so than Rory. Like, Scotty just didn't have it this week, even on the rounds. Like when he shot that 65 on Saturday, he left a lot of strokes out there. He just really
talk about it.
He didn't really ever get hot with the putter this week. And I mean, it's kind of a scary thing with Scotty. It's what we've known about Scotty forever, is that when he shows up with his B- or C+ game, he's getting solo second, right? Like after the first 2 days, Scotty had no business being in the mix on Sunday. And he just kind of had that Scotty doing Scotty things on Saturday. Played himself in it. And then I'd say even on Sunday, I was going to say today, even on Sunday, like it was just a kind of a ho-hum round. And I think that 3 under that he shot on Sunday was kind of, not to make a Bryson joke out of it, but like that's his par for Scotty, right? You can count on Scotty to shoot 3 under pretty much every day. He just happened to have a tough first couple of days of the tournament.
Right.
So I'm with you. I think we have to give an A- maybe, just because he didn't win, and because it's Scotty. Now, why don't we go to the other guy that was firmly in the mix on this thing, Cam Young. Now that the tournament's over, how do you grade Cam Young's? Let's see. He got first, second, third.
T3.
No. Yeah, T3. Okay. T3 for Cam Young. How do you grade Cam Young's performance?
I'm going to be lame here, man. I'm going to say if you shoot 10 under and lose the Masters by only a couple of strokes, I mean, you get an A. And here's the thing. Let me reverse. Could Rory have played better? Could he have not lost all the strokes, but that he did, that he earned in the first couple rounds? Yeah, but there was a lot of big numbers out here from really good golfers. I mean, Bryson DeChambeau was 6 over after 2 days. Nobody really expects anything out of Sergio. I'm just kind of going down the list here. There's a lot of guys that had bigger numbers than you normally are used to seeing, I guess. And Rory still shot 12. So it's hard. That's an A+. I'm rewriting his grade. Rory got an A+. And the reason I say that is a lot of these guys played really good golf, and I can't give Rory a less grade than guys that he beat. I don't know. So that's how I feel. Scotty got an A.
I'm going to take a different approach.
Russell Henley got an A.
I'm going to pretend for a moment that I am these players. Let's say I'm their coach, okay? And we're going to do a performance review at the end of all these tournaments.
Okay.
So I think you're right. You know, the person that won the tournament gets an A+. Rory, you did a good job. Let's talk about what you did wrong, but A+. Okay, you did it. I think for Cam Young, I don't know that I can give him more than a B. And I say it because if I'm Cam Young's coach, there's a clear problem there that we saw this week. And I say clear, I don't know exactly what it was, but obviously he was in the mix. He was in the moment. He was borderline the favorite, right? I mean, he had a 2-stroke lead at some point in this tournament. And he wasn't able to get it done. And not only was he not able to get it done, but he just was stuck in neutral. He couldn't find that second gear. I mean, he shot 1 over for the day, but it was just pars all over the place. He was -2 through a stretch of 4 holes. And that was right when he was in the thick of things. And so, I mean, for a guy as good as Cam Young, for a guy as good of a round he played on Saturday, to play himself into that final group, tied for the lead with Rory McIlroy, and for him to play the way he did on Sunday, I think we can't give him more than a B. Considering a B is a good score, but this is kind of the official, like, Cam Young, you've graduated from your expectation is winning these things, and it's not getting T3. I mean, you've been getting top fives in major championships for 4 years now. Now we need to graduate.
Okay.
All right.
I hear you.
Just so, how would you grade Rosie?
I was going to ask you the same thing after you just graded Cam a B. He's been doing this thing longer than any of these other guys that are competing right now. If based on Cam's B, we're grading on a curve here. Rosie has 3 seconds, 2 more top fives, 3 more top 10s in his career. I mean, this is a C-. You had the lead. You had the thing that you've been needing to get a green jacket. You had it. You've been chasing this thing for, since 2003. Only 3 cuts, right? Since 2003, he's missed the cut 3 times. So he's played on the weekend.
The only reason why I'd give Rosie a higher grade than Young would be if I am the coach of both of these guys. Okay, Cam Young is in the prime of his career. Okay, Rosie, he's won 1 major championship in his career. Rosie it's a phenomenal career. It's remarkable, really. But he's 45 years old. And it seems like I could give him a B+ over a B simply because I think we can recognize that Justin Rose is what's I forgot the phrase last time I used it, and I'm going to use it again. Punching above his weight class. Okay, he's hanging with the big dogs. I don't know how he does it. I don't have a clue how he does it. But I think Justin Rose finishing with a tie with Cam Young. I don't know. I guess in my brain, I'm like, when you have Cam Young with a 2-stroke lead on a Sunday, I have higher expectations for Cam Young than I do Justin Rose. And they both found themselves in that exact same spot on Sunday. I don't know. You can admit, though, at this stage in someone's career as a 45-year-old, for them to finish, I'd say a competitive top 3 is a completely different ball game than Cam Young being 30 in the height of his career, finishing the same spot. Am I crazy?
I'm not going to say you're crazy. I just don't agree. I mean, he's playing as well as all these other guys. I mean, sure, yeah, he is older than all of them, but his age had nothing to do with him dropping the ball here. Had nothing to do with it. And everything to do with just you couldn't perform once you had the thing that you needed.
Yeah. I feel like Jordan Spieth needs to pick Justin Rose's brain, because Jordan Spieth, I love Jordan Spieth. He's my number 1 favorite golfer of all time. I wish I could root for him more, but I feel like he's still kind of living in this world where we're all hoping to see the old Spieth. And I don't think we're ever looking to see the old Justin Rose. We're just have the pleasure of seeing the new Rose. I feel like Spieth needs to like redefine his career the way Justin Rose did, because Justin Rose has been firmly relevant for the last probably 3 full PGA Tour seasons. I don't know. That's again neither here nor there, but hey, so let's without diving deep into these, just give me a quick grade here. Knee-jerk reaction. Give me a grade for Sam Burns, tied for the lead after the first hole on Sunday. Ends up finishing, what is that? T7. How do you grade Burns?
I mean, I think I was a little harsh on him when you were asking like who I thought was actually truly in the mix. And even with Sam Burns where he was at, I just didn't feel like he's that guy. So I give him a solid B plus.
Yep, I'm with you.
At the Masters, man.
I don't have as high of expectations for Burns, so I think B plus. You could even call it an A minus. I don't care. What about Max Homa?
My guy.
5 under on Sunday, locks himself into a T9?
And I'm going to give him a special grade because he's been a little rocky this year, right?
Been rocky for about 2 years now. And the only reason he was playing in this year's Masters is because he finished top 12 last year. And so he locked himself into next year's Masters with the way he played this week.
Max Homa gets an A.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. He gets an A. And that's mainly because he was digging deep and he found something this week in the one moment that you need to find something. You could argue he found something more so than Rory did, more so than Scotty did this week. But he got the most out of his game this week. Okay, what about Patrick Reed? He was the talk of the town for a while. I'm looking at the Masters leaderboard. It doesn't show their finish, but -5 for the tournament. Was that a
T12?
12?
Patrick Reed, C plus. The way he's been playing golf so far this season, I said it coming into this thing. I have legit expectations of him. And he dropped the ball big time. That one is disappointing. If there's a guy that I really, really had a lot of expectations for, and now that I get 2020 hindsight and I feel the same way as Patrick Reed's probably one of my biggest disappointments, like tournament wide, right? So I
might say B minus. Yeah, I might say B minus simply because despite him playing really well, I mean, this is the first time since last year's majors that he's really played with, a full field of the best golfers in the world. I'm with you. I mean, this guy going into the week, he was a guy on our list of guys that, have a legitimate chance of winning it. And then he proved it like day one, right? He was in the mix all day long. He just had a slow Saturday. You didn't gain any ground on Saturday. And then obviously, he was no longer in the question on Sunday. But
here's my argument against that. And I feel like I'm just battling you today. Patrick Reed, unlike some of these other guys, and we've talked about this, as a grinder, man. He's always out there playing golf tournaments. I think they brought it up in his interview at the beginning. Over the course of the last 3 or 4 years, he's played in 27 different countries. I mean, the guy is a grinder. And so because of that, I don't think he gets the same leeway as these guys. Like, they're getting back into it, like a Brooks, right? Like, where did Brooks finish? Did he get a top 30?
I think he got the same as as
P.
Reed.
Yeah, same exact. Like, so while I give Patrick Reed a C minus, I give Brooks Koepka a B plus. I do.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Of Reed were way more than Brooks, because Brooks hasn't been playing well. Brooks hasn't been playing as many tournaments. He just, I don't know. And then in that same group, there's another guy, Patrick Cantlay. What's Patrick Cantlay's recency so far this season? I feel like he was one of the guys that we talked about. It's just kind of been like, man. Actually, he's had he had missed a couple of cuts, but he has 1, 2, 3, 4 top 15s.
Listen, here's the deal with Patrick Cantlay. He's had a wonderful, wonderful career in terms of a PGA Tour career. He hasn't even come close to a major championship. If we have to grade the guy and I'm his coach, I think if I'm his coach, I'm just conceding to the fact that, this guy ain't winning a major championship. So sure, I'll give you an A, buddy. We'll see you at Harbor Town. No, it's a little harsh, but I mean, like Patrick Cantlay, I don't think he's even in the conversation until he wins one. He's going to surprise us if he does. And I mean, he's had a quiet year, so I'd say overall it's a good finish for him. But yeah, sure, I'm going to give Patrick Cantlay an A. He played his way into next year's Masters, regardless of any other he's probably been a top 20 player for like majority of his career in terms of world golf rankings, maybe even top 15. But yeah, he's just until he wins one, I think he's kind of gotten phased out from that conversation for me.
Yeah, I hear you.
See, I give easy grades in some cases, and I give extremely harsh grades in other cases. Okay, so what about here's another guy that in the same vein as Cam Young, from a harsh grade standpoint, Ludwig Aberg. He finishes solo second or T2 his first time playing here in 2024. Ever since he came out on tour, he's kind of like really, really quickly moved up to that upper echelon of golfer. And, he's had a good start to the year in terms of results, but he's also had some pretty shaky moments. I'm looking back to that tournament in Texas when he had a 5-stroke lead on Sunday, isn't able to lock it in. So resulted in a good finish, but if you look at it with a microscope, it's probably not the best performance. And he finishes T21 -3. He was really never in the mix from start to finish. I'm looking at a guy like Ludwig, and I'm saying, buddy, this is a D. You got to play better than this.
Yeah, I mean, and he's playing pretty good golf coming into this, man. I mean, a top 20, and then ripped off 3 top 5s in a row coming into this, right? To include the Players Championship T5, Valero T5. And he's playing really good golf. I mean, we're not strokes gained geniuses, but I mean, he's over 2.5 or 3 strokes gained in those tournaments total, in the tournament. So he's one of the better golfers. And so he came in and got a decent finish, right? In the grand scheme of things, not a lot of people get to say they finished T21 at the Masters. So it's impressive, but for a guy that has the ability he does, I agree with you. It's just kind of, I mean, man, when are we going to do it again, or what are we doing? What's their plan here?
I mean, he truly is a victim of his own success, right? I mean, you come out on scene the way he did, and you have a swing like he does, and to go back to his recent finishes, I mean, he's had good finishes, but it seems like there's just something missing there, like another gear, whether it's a mental gear, similar to Cam Young. And I think that's just a testament to how hard these things are to win. Is, these are all the best players in the world playing in these major championships. And it's usually not just the person who's the best skilled golfer, right? I mean, these guys, in terms of skill, these guys are not too far apart from each other, but there's another gear that it takes to win these things. And, we saw it from Ludwig his first time here at the Masters. I don't know if that was kind of I don't want to say beginner's luck, but kind of there's no pressure to be had type of moment. But, just what I saw a couple of weeks ago in Texas was just kind of like this moment where it's like, all right, now is your time to shine. And he doesn't. So I guess for me, first and foremost, I expect more out of Ludwig. And I hope for more out of Ludwig. So I'm going to give him a bad grade this year in hopes of him, being competitive moving forward as we make our way to, what do we got? Aronimink for the PGA, Shinnecock for the US Open, and where are we going for the Open Championship?
I have no idea.
Royal Birkdale.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we're kind of covering some of the higher up on the leaderboard guys, let's look at some other guys throughout the week that we talked about. I'm gonna give my grade for Jon Rahm to start. He finished T38. He made the cut on the number after opening with a 78 on Thursday. I mean, this has got to be. I'm gonna give him a D-, and the only reason I'm gonna give him a D- is because there's another name on the list that gets an F this week. But he finished tied with Hao Tong Lee, who shot an 80 on Sunday to tie Jon Rahm, 2-time major winner. Yeah, it was disappointing to see Jon Rahm this week.
Man, when it comes to Rahm, I feel the same way. And to be honest, maybe this is an emotional response to this, but I don't know if I'm going to put Rahm on a list of guys that's going to compete at majors anymore. So the next time we talk about major, hey, what, pick your horse. Rahm, I'm telling you right now, is not going to be that guy. And another guy is Bryson. I think, I don't know what the heck we watched from Bryson this weekend, but that was absurd. To be a guy like Bryson, who I've said it on this podcast multiple times, is sneaky good or sneaky great with his wedges around the green to include bunker play, and then he can't get out of a bunker. Like, it's his nemesis is sand. Like, I don't know. I feel embarrassed having picked them to be guys that I thought were going to compete.
Yeah, so that's the only reason why I didn't give John Rahm an F, is because he at least made the cut. Bryson DeChambeau, I mean, not only did he get an F, but he got an F minus. I mean, just solely that bunker play on 11 on Thursday, when it took him 3 shots to get out of a bunker, was just kind of jarring to see. But then when you just look at the moment that Bryson had, he was within the cut line by a stroke. Green side bunker on 18. All he has to do is go up and down, or not even up and down, up and 2-putt, and he's bogeying and he's making the cut. And what we saw on 18 on Friday, honestly, was just sad to watch, man. I mean, he leaves it in the bunker after his first try. It doesn't even look like he really read the shot. I don't really know what he did on his second bunker shot, but he hits the shot. It lands below the hole, rolls off the green like 30 feet. It didn't even look like he was giving it a go when he was chipping it, because at that point, if he chips it in, he's making the cut. He hits it past 15 feet, 2 putts from there for a triple bogey. It was sad, man. And from a guy like Bryson, I mean, Bryson was firmly not just on the betting favorites, but on our podcast, on a lot of other podcasts, he was one of the few guys who we were looking at to win this tournament. And for him to be like totally irrelevant by the time we hit Amen Corner on Thursday was disappointing to see, man.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm as out on Bryson moving forward as I am, as you are. Rahm was a hopeful pick for me because I've said it 1,000 times on here. Those guys on LIV are kind of out of sight, out of mind. I don't watch the tour for no particular reason. So I don't have a clue how Rahm's playing. I just know he's not winning over there. And I know that Bryson's winning because I look it up to see who wins every week. And Bryson won twice in a row, right? I mean, we can joke about LIV all we want, but winning a golf tournament is winning a golf tournament. You know, we give Patrick Reed a lot of praise for winning on the Asia Tour and winning over in Saudi Arabia and winning on the DP World Tour. Those are still professional tournament wins, and we got to give credit where it's due. And so winning a LIV tournament, I don't think it's equal, but you're still winning a golf tournament against a lot of other professional golfers. So I'd say in that vein, this is a firm F, like triple F for Bryson.
I have one guy that I'm giving my F minus card to because his behavior was deplorable, and that's Sergio Garcia.
Let's talk about it.
We have to talk about it.
Let me set the table really quick before you do this, okay? Yeah. And I want you to explain what the shenanigans we saw. But this is a guy who has these moments littered throughout his career, okay? This guy has been known for being terrible to his caddy, throwing fits in bunkers. He's a big old baby, okay? Yeah. And so I think if what Matt's about to say was like the first time we ever saw this, I don't know that it would be that big of a deal. I'll admit.
I firmly agree with you on that. But I think this was the cap on his career for his behavior. And if I were a member at Augusta National, I'd be pulling my fellow members aside going, hey, what's the procedure where this guy doesn't get an invite anymore? Because I am livid that I'm sending this guy a letter every year just because he won this tournament. And then he has the disrespect to treat my course and my space the way that he did, like that ticks me off, man. If that's my course, I'm putting my heart and soul into this place, and I'm inviting all these people here, and we give trophies and a jack, and we're doing all this stuff, and it's a big dang deal, and it's supposed to be special. And then you step onto the grounds and behave like that? No, absolutely not. We lambasted Wyndham Clark for doing it, right?
Yep.
We supported the fact that if he was never going to be able to go to Oakmont again, we supported that. If they said, "Hey,
still,
you're out," I do too. And I give Augusta National all of the power, right? We leading up to this thing, you got a lot of my texts of people complaining about how Augusta National handles themselves. And I would support 110% if they, and I don't know if this is something that they've ever done.
Just if anybody can do it, it's Augusta National.
But I don't know what the precedence is. Like, I don't know if this is something that they've ever done. And I understand that traditionally, if you're still playing professional golf and you're a champion, you get an invite back. And I know that you get to a certain point, like even if you're a past champion, where you don't get the invite anymore. Like, I know that they kind of have a yay or nay call. But obviously I'm not a member, so I don't actually know what that looks like.
Yeah, like Gary Player and Jack Nicklaus are no longer competing in the Masters.
Right.
But I'm sure there's a conversation to be had with the player and saying, hey, I think it's time. Like, you'll still get the honorary invite. But I'm with you. Maybe they need to do that for Sergio.
That was too much.
So talk us through what happened.
So he's on, I believe it's the second tee box. He hits a shot, which I'm assuming he's setting up for a draw, and it cuts and goes right. And to be honest, I don't remember if it went in the bunker or got into the pine straw.
I don't think anybody paid attention at that point.
But it really wasn't that bad of a shot. Like, I understand he was probably trying to hit a draw. Everybody's trying to hit a draw on that hole. And he doesn't hit it. And he takes his driver immediately and takes 3 or 4 significant swipes at the deck, takes a huge chunk out of the grass on a tee box, on a hole everybody's using driver or 3-wood, teeing it up. So there are no divots on this tee box. And then after taking a divot and almost rolls his ankle in the divot, it's so dang deep. I don't know if you noticed this.
I didn't.
Walks away and one hand whacks a cooler with his driver so hard, breaks the shaft. No driver for the rest of the day. And then when he's being interviewed at the end of the day, he's just kind of like, yeah, I wish it didn't happen. Wish it didn't happen.
Oh,
interesting.
Gosh.
That's an interesting take. I wish it didn't happen.
That sounds like that stinking schmuck at the Creator Classic. What was that guy's name when he slept in through his tee time? And he goes, well, I wish I woke up. I'm like, you got to take a little bit of ownership here. But here's the deal. Sergio Garcia is a 40-something-year-old man, okay? If he hasn't learned now, he ain't learning moving forward. And so, yeah, I'm with you. Augusta, give him the boot. Get him out of here.
I'm F minus.
The thing I saw that I actually liked less was, and this has nothing to do with Augusta making their decision, but and maybe I didn't see a lot of context in it, but on Saturday, Sergio's getting ready to pick up his ball, just like all the golfers do. They mark their ball, pick it up, and they kind of instinctually hand it to their caddy for them to clean it. And so it's on 12. He grabs his ball and he goes to, like, his caddy's right behind him, and he, like, pretends like he's gonna throw it in his face. And his caddy, like, flinches, like, dude, what are you doing? And then he hands him the ball, and at no point does Sergio even look at his caddy. And it's just true disrespect in that moment. That's one thing that's the thing I like least when it comes to caddy golfer interactions, is that, like, just that exact moment, right? We saw a lot of that with Bubba earlier on in his career. He was always yelling and mother effing his caddies. I just hate to see it. I hate to see it, especially at a place like Augusta. Okay, Augusta is what it is. I love it. It's like this. It's like the one time in the world of golf where we, like, celebrate exclusivity, right? Like, they just do it the way they do it, and we just soak it up and we love it. They can get away with so much there. They're like 20 years behind in terms of the social clock that we all live by, and we all love it. It's great.
Well, isn't that kind of what we like about that tournament though? Is because
it is
when it's Masters week, everything it's about the Masters and about this thing that they've created, and all the other stuff doesn't play a role. Like they control so much, and that's what makes the place special. And that's what
it's special. Yeah, absolutely. It's all of that stuff is exactly why we love the Masters, right? Like they have a rule that you can't run. That's a stupid rule. Anywhere else you're at, any other part of the planet, it's a dumb rule, and I hate it. I'm gonna be cussing you out. But at the Masters, it's like, no, well, it's the Masters, so we're not running. Right. You put your chair down as long as your name's on it. Nobody moves it, and guess what? Nobody moves it because it's the Masters, and we love it. Why do they wear green jackets? Why do they do all these rituals? It's because it's the Masters, and it's because it's Augusta, and that's just how they do it, and we love it. And so I guess with that in mind, and we talked about this earlier on in the week, on seeing a lot of the press conferences leading into the week on how much these guys seem to love that, right? They respect it the same way we do as fans. And it's this thing that they've created in the professional golf ecosystem where it's not only loved and adored by the fans, but the players love it too. You know, this kind of club, this exclusive club that they just want to be a part of, and they respect the heck out of it. Most of them do, right? And so it's just like in that moment, I'm just trying to picture, like I'm trying to have some grace for Sergio here. It's like if you're sure you're fired up, but like you should have, I'll just say, the maturity to take that split second of just read the room here. Like, sure, if you want to muck up the tee box, you got to draw the line somewhere. Don't smash the stinking cooler. Like, what are you doing here, man? I hate to see it. I absolutely hate to see it. And somebody, there's a lot of talk about him carrying Rahm's bag, and like it was almost like a self-policing moment. It's like, well, yeah, that's what he gets. And I don't know if I viewed it that way. I think he's literally golfing with his other countrymen, So like, what's he gonna do? He's gonna carry his buddy's bag for him while his caddy's raking a bunker. I don't know that was the punishment that he had coming his way, but a lot of people viewed it that way. It seemed.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of, I don't know if you wanted to jump into this, but it kind of reminded me talking about how the Masters has everything set up, and I think we can agree that there was a shift in perspective of how things are run at this tournament at the par 3. And I don't think we've talked about it yet. I know we talked about it kind of over chat, but they brought in Jason Kelsey. They got Kevin Hart down there. They've got every hole has little kids running around. Wyndham Clark famously inserted himself into the social media world with a comment regarding that. So it's a lot different now than what I remember it as a kid. And I feel like when I was a kid, the par 3 was this tournament that was, the final big event before we get serious. But people still took it seriously. Like I remember it as a kid that this was the tournament some of the older, more established guys were competing in. Like I just kind of have vivid memories of, whether I'm making them up or not, of Jack or Arnie or Bernhard Langer. Like I have like weird memories of Bernhard Langer out there, throwing darts. And it just kind of felt like, it's like, okay, these guys are going to go compete tomorrow, but they're not really in the tournament tomorrow, likely. But they're going to try to win this one, right? They're going to try to add this to their trophy collection. And now it's just kind of turned into and I don't know when it happened. Everybody's got their kids out there, their girlfriends, their wives. And nobody's really turning in a scorecard. There's like 5, 6, 8, 9 guys turning in a real scorecard. It's just not what I remember it. And I feel like this year, especially with the Jason Kelsey and the Kevin Hart, like, I'll be frank, there's too much. Like, I feel like we're past this point of cute, acceptable thing. And I feel like they went too far. And Fred Ridley apologized, oddly enough, not about the par 3 tournament, but he's like, yeah, maybe it was a mistake bringing out the dude perfect guys to play Frisbee around Amen Corner. And it's like, Fred, you actively, while admitting that, have Jason Kelsey out there. I mean, borderline wearing a beer bong helmet and Kevin Hart yelling at patrons. Like, what are we doing? This is absurd.
So earlier on in the week, well, hold on, I got a lot of thoughts here. So first off, if we're going to give anybody grades, I do want to give Jason Kelsey a grade, okay? Because I don't think having Jason Kelsey out there, at least my first reaction was, I don't think it's that bad, right? They've been bringing him out for TGL. He had a blast at TGL. People seem to like him. I think Jason Kelsey gets a firm C, and that's an earnest grade. He was a little awkward out there. But I can picture a world where Jason Kelsey kind of finds his mojo and he's additive to what we're watching. Okay. So I'm just going to say that. But back to your point, there were 86 golfers that started and competed in the par 3 contest. There are 91 golfers that played in the Masters. However, I think a lot of guys that don't play in the Masters play in the par 3 contest. But to highlight your point, 80 plus guys started and played in the par 3, and there were 16 scorecards turned in at the end of the day. Now, of course, that is 17. The reason why is the second a celebrity shot, I guess, is used, then it's no score, right? So your
right.
scorecard is invalid. And to go back to what you were saying, I do remember early on in my golf fandom, maybe the 2013-14 timeframe, I do remember tuning into the Masters par 3, and that's kind of why I enjoyed it. It was kind of this semi-serious golf event, right? It's like the thing that we always wonder when we play a par 3 contest, like, God, what the pros would eat this up, and they do, and it's fun to watch. And it's just, in my mind, it was worth watching, right? It was additive to my Masters experience. And I'll say, I couldn't even tell you when it happened, because I think it just slowly kind of morphed into what it is now. And I'll say after this year, it was, I don't think I watched last year. I think it's just kind of meh, right? I'm firmly would say I don't think it adds to my Masters experience. It's something I'm happy to miss, I think, moving forward. And I don't know if it's because of Jason Kelsey, but I think in light of Ridley's comments about regretting having the dude perfect guys out there, and then we have, the par 3 tournament that we have every year, it's hard to take him seriously, I guess, right? It's like, well, what are we really looking for? And I think maybe the real answer is this. It seems like the Masters par 3 is less of a fan forward, how do we engage the fans thing? Gosh, I'm saying that, but I'm already on the fence, because I'm like, why else would they bring Jason Kelsey in? But it seems like it's more focused on, like, let's just make it fun for the players, right? The question that they were always asking these guys as they're getting ready to play is, what does it mean to have your family out here at the par 3, right? So that tells me that it's like, okay, we want to make this enjoyable for the players. As a viewer, though, holy smokes, man, it's just kind of, I can only take so many highlights of kids and wives and girlfriends hitting tee shots and putts. It's just, it's just like any other family thing, right? It's never as cute when it's not your own kid,
Yeah. So I think I sent this to the group chat. It's Peter Costas tweeted this out. He said the evolution from the mid 80s, when Chairman Horde Harden sent Ken Green letters of reprimand for having his son caddy in the par 3 contest, and to both Ken and Calc for skipping balls over the water at 16 in a practice round, to what we see today at 16 in the par 3 contest, is unbelievable. So I think it's easy to say being reprimanded for having your son simply caddy. I think a lot of us would say, okay, that's a little too harsh for just having your son caddy. I would agree that that's too much. But to what we see today, it's like, I'm not really interested anymore to turn into the par 3 to watch Scotty Scheffler's kids and Tommy. Like, everybody loves Tommy's kid, but it's just not like, okay, yeah, it was cute last year, but like, I'm not waiting with bated breath to see what Tommy's son says at the par 3 contest.
Well, I tell you what, ESPN was, because they were giving him layups all day, and his son was not having it. He's like Gianna, where he's like, okay, they're looking for a reaction. I'm not going to give him that one.
Right.
They're giving him layups.
It's just, I feel like we've gone too far. You know, the classic saying, jump the shark. I think that they've jumped the shark, and I would like to see them reel it back in, but I just don't know if you can. You know what I mean? I think the par 3 contest is now, you know, I mean, what there was another character at the par 3 contest, and I literally had to Google who he was. I think he goes by the Miz. Yeah, the Miz. Dude, I had to Google this guy. Didn't know who he was. The Miz.
He was at the par 3.
Michael Gregory Mizanin, American professional wrestler. So he wasn't at the par 3. He was doing an interview, but at Augusta National with Amanda Balionis. Dude, maybe this was made up, but I saw a picture of it and somebody's like, what is this? Maybe
I think maybe so. Here's where I have strong feelings, broadly speaking, because I think if Giovanni could have what Giovanni wants for the par 3, it would be, let's go back 10 years in time, and let's let the wives and girlfriends and kids be caddies, because it is cute and it's fun to see. Like it is fun to see these guys kind of in their more raw moment, right? Like Scotty's wife had their newborn, like 14-day-old baby on a little chest strap, right? Like that's kind of fun to see.
Right.
And it's fun to see these guys let loose, and they talk about, you know, the bets they have for when they hit a hole in one. That stuff's fun. I think if Giovanni could wave a magic wand, it would be a real, air quotes, competition. I say that because a lot of guys don't actually want to win it, because nobody that's won the par 3 has won the Masters. But I want these guys to make the decision. Are you playing it or are you not? And if you're playing in it, I want to see you hit 9 shots and 9 putts. And that's my own opinion. That's just what I want to see. And it seems to line up a little bit more with the other Masters traditions that we see out there. But if they don't go that way, I almost want like it to be a little bit more explicitly clear. Like, what is the Masters par 3? What's the point of it? And if maybe, I think we know the answer, right? It's a, I don't know, like kind of made for TV sort of thing that they want to make fun and engaging for people. But if they make that a little bit more explicit, like, hey, we're going to just make this a circus. Okay. This is the parade that kicks off the Masters. If they just told me that's what it is, I think I'd be more okay with it. But it's just gradually turned into what it is. And it is a circus. It's a circus. I mean, you got Jason Kelsey eating a potato salad, pimento cheese stacked sandwich on the side of the hole.
I've been trying to think of the words of what it is that I think that bothers me about it. Is I look at the Masters, and I have always felt like it's this place of, you know, tradition and decorum, and the people that get to go there belong there. You know, they've earned their way. They're respected in the community. And of course they're in Augusta for this event, right? Of course. But then I see Jason Kelsey and I'm like, and then I want to say this. I have no beef with Jason Kelsey himself. Like, Jason Kelsey's great. If I turn into the, you know, NFL Network, or if I'm watching a football game Thursday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, whatever, I love Jason Kelsey, but not for the Masters. This is not a Jason Kelsey beef. This is the decision to send the guy who has no business there to do this thing. And so when I see guys there, I'm like, well, hold on. So I'm supposed to feel like I'm watching people who have this special privilege to go to this thing and they belong there. But what's that guy doing there? Like, it makes me think, well, why can't I go? Why aren't you calling me? Like, I know more about golf than this guy, and this dude's here where, you know, he's just like, hey, give me a bib. Where's the bib? Give me a bib. Put my name on it. I'm going to go eat a double sandwich. Like, what are we doing here, man? I think that might be truly where my beef is in this. Is it takes away a little bit of a peek behind the curtain, right? I get to see the wizard, and I don't want to. I want to believe the wizard is real. I want Santa to be real. I don't want Jason Kelsey telling me Santa's not real or Kevin
So
Hart.
I'm going to put my parenting hat on. I'm curious to hear your thought here. I'm going back on a little bit what I said before, right? This is it feels like it's very much a how do we make this really fun and inviting for the players and their families. I don't these kids are not like they all say this is like it's turned into Rory said it. He's like this is like turned into Poppy's favorite week. Sure. But do we like how much is Poppy going to be recognizing the moment she's in when she's in a caddy putting it for who knows what on the 8th hole at a par 3 contest, right? Like, I think the kids being there and having the caddy bibs on and getting to be with dad and have everybody cheer them on, I think that alone is enough. We don't need to let the kids hit the shots, right? Or I don't see a problem with let's just draw the line. If you're going to play in the par 3, you're going to play in the par 3. Post a score. But sure, go ahead and let Poppy hit a celebrity shot when you're done with the hole. Like that, like that's the same thing in the kids' eyes, right?
Right.
And I not that it has to be all about the score, because I'm kind of anti that when it comes to these fun moments, but it's like as a viewer, I mean, the par 3 tournament has always been a thing I tune in to watch. And the last handful of years, it's kind of like, like I think I watch more this year than I have in the last 3 or 4 years, because I'll start watching and I'm just like, this is kind of dumb. I don't know.
No, I see what you're saying. And I think I can't say how I would handle it, right? Like I'm never going to be there. I'm never going to have this opportunity. So it's impossible to know how Matt Caldwell would treat this moment. But what situation I do have is I do bring my son to the golf course. You do bring your daughter to the golf course. And I'll be honest with you, like when I take Otto to the golf course, like I'm taking this opportunity to teach him what having decorum on the golf course looks like. Does that mean I don't let him every once in a while go have a heyday on a hill somewhere and roll down it? No, I let him go get his kid energy out. But at the same time, it's important for him to know, like, hey man, when somebody's on the tee box, it's time to be quiet. You don't walk in front or behind somebody. You don't walk on golf lines like these. Like it's the opportunity to show him, like, hey, this is what being on the golf course looks like. Like there's rules and there's traditions and there's things that we need to be cognizant of. And maybe I'm just the old man yelling at the cloud here, but maybe just put that aspect in there. Like,
I think we're getting exactly to where we need to go here. Okay. Because every time you and I have a friend who brings their kid to the golf course, everybody has the same thought. Like, oh my God,
here we go.
You brought your stinking kid. And then when you never know how the parenting style is, right? Are we going to be standing here for 10 minutes or like they're going to let them hit it in the hole? No. And I think that's exactly what Ridley and Augusta National needs to do is they need to just for a moment say, okay, let's just treat these like people bringing their kids to the course. What do we expect of them? Right? Just because they're kids doesn't mean they get to have a heyday. Okay. There's certain expectations. Okay. Every parent knows this, right? I'd say, every time I've been at a golf course with a guy who brings their kid to the course, they're always trying to teach the kids a certain thing, right? They're always like, hey, we got to be quick, or nope, here's your time. Go ahead and putt this one out, or go play in the bunker, whatever. Like there's certain things you let them do and certain things you don't let them do. And I think that's what Ridley needs to do. He needs to say, hey, bring the kids out. If they want to hit an extra ball, hit an extra ball. Okay. Time is not a problem here, but there's still golf that needs to be played here. I think that's what we need to do is we need to tell these guys there's golf to be played. If anything for Giovanni over here, I just want to watch and see how these guys do. Not because it's going to affect how they do at the Masters, because it's stinking fun to watch the best golfers in the world play 9 holes at a par 3 course. We never get to see that ever, except once a year. And instead we get to see 13 guys play 9 holes on a par 3 course. And the rest of them, we get to watch their little twerp kids muck it up on the golf course. Okay.
All right. Easy.
I know they're trying their hottest. They're trying their hottest. Speaking of Wyndham, okay, I'm a staunch Wyndham hater. I think his antics on the course are totally unbecoming, but God, he's good on the mic, man. Scott Van Pelt, I got to say, Scott Van Pelt saved the par 3 this year. He was alone doing color. Is that he was doing color, right? That's
Scott's a legend, dude. Scott's an absolute legend.
From a broadcast standpoint, he was doing color on.
Yeah,
that's what they. Okay,
yeah.
He was doing color, and he was just on his own. And I cannot say enough how impressed I am with the way he can carry a room just on his own in that moment. He did awesome. But when Wyndham finished, I don't even know if Wyndham finished. He might have just jumped on after, I think 7 was where the booth was. But Wyndham jumped on the mic, and Wyndham is fantastic on the mic. For a guy that I really don't like, and I think he's really immature in the way he carries himself on the golf course. Obviously, we talked a little bit about Oakmont. I really enjoyed Wyndham on the mic with Scott Van Pelt. So maybe it's time for Wyndham to hang it up and get back in the booth. Hey, so we're kind of getting into some uncharted territory in terms of our discussion here. And one thing I did want to talk about that's a little bit in the same vein here is it went around on social media quite a bit. But this question that somebody asked Scotty. In fact, while I'm going to set the table, do you mind looking up the actual question? Because I think it's important. But Scotty was asked a question post round on Saturday. Scotty shot 7 under 65 on Saturday. And for anybody with eyeballs, you could tell that there was the 63 was definitely out there, maybe a 62. And somebody asked Scotty a question. Matt's looking it up right now, but it was in the same vein of like, hey, like what could that round have been? I know you shot 65, which is really good, but what could it have been? And Scotty's response was, I'm going to do my best. Go ahead.
He says that was okay.
The worst
reporter says that was a 65 today. What did it feel like it could have or should have been?
And Scotty said,
that's what they said.
And Scotty's response was, he kind of chuckles.
That's just a terrible question. Next question, awful. And he kind of gave the classic Scotty smirk and smile. You know, he's the good old boy from Dallas. But yeah, he says that's a terrible question. Next question, awful.
So the first time I saw any waves of this was I logged onto Instagram and it pops up, and it's this soundbite, and Roger Steele is in the comments, and his comment says something along the lines of, "Hey, honest question, like what makes this such a bad question?" And there was some, Instagram commenter dialogue going on, and no shade at Roger Steele. He seems like a very sweet man. I don't think he's poking any bears per se, but he's not mucking it up in there. But there was also some discussion about, like, was Scotty off base by saying awful question next? And you and I had talked a little bit about it offline, but Matt, give me your kind of knee-jerk reaction to is Scotty a bad guy, or was Scotty off base for saying awful question next?
So I'm not going to give you my knee-jerk reaction. I'm going to give you I've had, several days to think about this. And I believe the only people that are truly getting grumpy about Scotty reacting or having the response that he did are people that haven't really had anyone in their life really tell them, hey, that was not great. That kind of sucked. And this is your job. I expect more out of you, right? If you have ever been trying to be good at your job or do something well, and you have a mentor or a leader or somebody who knows better than you, they're going to call you out, right? If their intent is for you to be better like you want, there's a 0% chance you've never been, had your feet put to the fire. And this was just a very quick, in public version of that. This reporter had a low effort question, and I'm not alone in that thought. It was a low effort question. And Scotty's like, that's it. I'm not answering. That's ridiculous. Ask me something else. Next. And there's a lot of things that reporter could have asked to go where he was wanting to go. he played par golf through the par fives on the back. Okay, if that's what you want to talk about, ask about the par fives on the back. Hey, Scotty, what do you think kept you from being under par on the par fives? That's not typically what you do. Historically speaking, this is one of your worst performances on the par fives in the back on the weekend. Ask that question. Don't ask some dumb question, because that's what that was. We're adults. You're grown. You get paid to ask questions for a living. That was a stupid question. Now, I'm not as mad. I'll be honest. I'm not as mad at the question itself. Had I saw it and I didn't know there was a bunch of blowback about it, I would have been like, yeah, okay. He asked a silly question. Scotty gave him an equal response, telling him it was a silly question. We moved on. Not a big deal. I think I have more beef with the people defending the question. Like it was some great question, some 5-star Time magazine blurb sort of question. Like, get over yourselves. The question sucked. Just admit it. It's fine. It's okay. We're not always good at our jobs. Sometimes we screw up. It's okay.
So I think I feel less strongly on all levels, but I just don't see a problem with how everything went down at all. I think that's almost like enlightening or refreshing to see a guy like Scotty, who's like super, super stinking nice to media. And you could tell by his response, he just kind of laughed about it, right? He wasn't like, stupid question, you're a dumb, terrible reporter. I want your name and I would never want you around here.
Right.
He said, nah, awful. Next question. And started laughing. And I'm almost certain the journalists started laughing too, right? It was all a silly thing, right? And I think the way everything went down was just fine. If we got more of that, I'm fine with it. Now, does it mean maybe this guy or whoever, or if you're trying to, ask insightful questions, this isn't a good learning moment? Yeah, sure. Like let's ask better questions. Because if anybody out there on tour is so interesting when asked the right question, it's Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler gets talked about being a boring golfer. It's boring to watch him play. He doesn't ever say anything in the media. But when he's asked a good, insightful question, he's going to give you a good, insightful response.
That's what good questions do.
And I think Scotty is kind of a good barometer here. If anything, it's like a, golly, like even Scotty didn't like my question. It must have been bad, right? Because he's known for being pretty nice at the media, right? He's usually answering questions. He's usually mucking it up. But and here's what I told you the other day was the reason why I think it's a bad question. And I'm going to pretend to be in Scotty's brain. Is I just got done shooting the low round of the day, 65 at Augusta National, to put myself in contention on Sunday on a week that I didn't have it. Like anybody that's ever played a round of golf can easily go back and say, golly, I know I shot a 77, but oh man, it could have been a 74, right? And in my opinion, and I'm going to say in Scotty's opinion too, that's just straight up loser talk, right? You're at a major championship and Scotty's locked in and he knows he doesn't have his best stuff. It's loser talk the second he answers that question. What should it have been? The second you get Scotty saying, oh, well, it should have been a 61 because I missed that 4-footer and then I hit it a little high off the face on that one shot. That's just loser talk. Scotty has no interest in loser talk on a Saturday afternoon in the hunt at a major. And so I think that gets to why that question was a bad question. And to your point, why should it have been lower? We know the answer. We watched the round of golf. Scotty played the round of golf. Ask him. Dude, what's going on 13, man? 65 is an awesome score, but tell me what happened on 13, because that 65 sure looked like it could have been a 63 to me. And that's a different.
That's exactly it. If you're wanting to get Scotty to talk about how his 65 could have been a 62, you as the reporter do the hard thing or the silly thing, right? For the player or whoever to do is just say the words for him. Hey, Scotty, as a big fan, I got into this business because I love watching golf. And I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like that should have been a 62. I mean, what happened on the par fives? You missed short putt. put it out there for him. Now he just has to answer the question. And he can just tell you, my putter stroke is this or this or that. Like, he's going to give you whatever was going on. But to ask him to find that thing that you're finding for you, like, it's lazy. I'm telling you, of all the guys that he could have asked that question to, Scotty probably was the nicest.
The best one. Yeah. Now, the reason why I don't feel as strongly about like grading all of these questions is maybe in my brain, I'm like, I don't know what makes a good question in an interview until I hear a good one and I hear a good answer. But, these guys, I'm assuming, right, they're just bombarding all these guys every time they get off the course, and they are probably scrambling to figure out, okay, how did Scotty do today? Obviously, they probably knew exactly how Scotty did that day, but it's probably like a shotgun approach, right? And you get your name called, and you're like, okay. In reality, they might have had the right question in their brain.
Oh, for sure.
They were like, they're probably just hoping their name gets called in the post-round interviews, and they're like, crap, what was it? What should it have been, Scotty?
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of grace, but maybe my point is I don't see anything wrong with how everything went down. And it's for the Roger Steeles of the world. I know I said this to you in private, but for the Roger Steeles of the world, if you really want to know why that's not a good interview question, asking in an Instagram post is not the place. Right. Roger Steele has a career made for him already in this space. He should be going to his mentor and saying, hey, I see a little heat going on with that question. What's so bad about that question? I don't want to be the one to ask that question. Right. If those are his intentions, he should go a different avenue than the Instagram chat boards or whatever you call them.
Yeah. Rick, I know I brought him up last week in a different vein, but Rick Riley's not asking, what did it feel like it could have or should have been? Rick Riley's not doing that.
It's funny. I don't take a microscope to a lot of these questions, but it is funny to look at that question. Like, you could ask that to every single golfer that finished up the round, and they all would probably be so annoyed. Like, it's like, do you want me to give you the real answer? Or like, yeah, I just shot a 74. Screw you. It could have been a 62, man. I'm good at golf.
Here's the other thing. It could have been a 68.
Yeah.
Like, what are
Let's
we
talk
doing?
about that. The birdie. So you and I haven't talked about this, but specifically, so Scotty's in the mix, and on Sunday, he hits it right on 15. He goes to punch it out, hits a tree limb, and then he's left with like 190 with trees in his way, and he somehow hits it on the green. And then he makes the uphill, like 6 foot left to right breaking putt. That's a moment where Scotty's probably like, well, I don't know, 65. It easily could have been a 69, man. Like, did you see my 15th hole today?
Yeah.
The golf gods were on my side.
Right. So but that's the thing is a lot of people talk about what it could have been, and they only look one direction on their scorecard. They don't look at the other way. And I think that's, I don't know. Anyway.
So Matt, I'm glad we talked about that. So we're creeping up on the hour and a half mark. It's 12:30 in the morning over here, East Coast. I'm a sleepy little peepee, but just what do we have moving forward? We've been recording a bunch this week. I love it. I hope for our viewers' sake that we can continue doing this during major championships. It's fun to do the recaps, kind of get some raw feelings and thoughts and emotions as we go through these tournaments. We do have Harbortown next week here in South Carolina, where I'm at now in Hilton Head. That's always a fun tournament. I believe it's still an elevated event in the PGA Tour schedule. So we have that coming up. And then from a major championship standpoint, we do have the PGA Championship at Aronimink. That is going to be May 14th through 17th. I did hear Solly on No Laying Up just kind of tongue-in-cheek say it's crazy that this Masters we just watched counts the same as a PGA Championship. He specifically was saying Valhalla, but it is funny. But that's neither here nor there. But we are in the thick of things in terms of major golf season. So in about a month and in exactly 1 month from today, we will be doing some PGA Championship preview pods, hopefully reaction recap pods per round as they get ready to award the Wanamaker Trophy. That's what we got coming up. I do want to just acknowledge that we are on episode 50. When Matt and I decided to start this little venture that we're doing, we set the bar at 50 episodes. We said, if we're going to do it, we're not doing any less than 50. I think we got about 10 episodes in, and Matt said, nope, we're doing 100. 100 is the number. So we are halfway there. If you enjoy the show, then you're going to count on us having at least 50 more of these. And then the last thing I want to shout out is we have had quite a few listeners from Canada. So I do want to give a shout out to our new Canadian listeners. I hope you like the show. I hope you stay tuned in. And then also, very specifically, somebody in Ashburn, Virginia, whoever you are, thank you for listening.
Hey,
Buzzsprout gives us those metrics. I appreciate you guys listening.
Hey,
we officially have more.
Let's use this here. I'm going to be, and likely you are going to be, we need to talk about it, are going to be in Ashburn in 1 month. So if you're the listener in Ashburn, Virginia, and there's somewhere we need to go get dinner, comment on the YouTube channel because I need to know. I've never been out there. I was in DC, like I said, a couple of weeks ago. I have a really cool cigar story, Matt.
Have you heard it?
Yeah. But no, we're going to be out there playing golf. So if you're the Sissel Ashburn, Virginia guy, give us some love. Tell us where we need to go.
Yeah, that's right. We will be, Matt for sure, me maybe will be in Ashburn, Virginia, playing at Belmont Country Club for a kind of a charity golf tournament with soon to be both of our employers as of Monday next week. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. We officially have more listeners outside of our hometown, which is kind of cool. One thing I don't think we do enough, and maybe on the back end of an hour and a half long episode is not the time to do it, but if you do want to catch more general content, you can follow us on Instagram. Sundowners Podcast is our handle. And I do upload a bunch of shorts usually, and then the full episodes we upload those at YouTube, and that's Sundowners Golf Club on YouTube.
And if you want to argue with me on Twitter, I'm there too, or X.
Yeah, so I don't take any credit for the Twitter X account, but I was getting on Matt about getting a little more engaging on there. So
yeah.
That is Sundowners Golf Club on Twitter. So anyhow, if you made it this long, thank you for listening. And I think now that we are firmly in the Augusta National hangover, we'll give our mics a little bit of a break. We've been hot on the mics for we did 2 preview pods, we did 4 recap pods, and now here we are doing a whole tournament recap. So thank you everyone for listening, and we will chat next week after Harbortown.
Hell yeah. Adios.